And welcome into the Seth Justice Show. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and you can do that on Instagram, TikTok at Justice_radio, or you can, just keep on doing the thing on YouTube and Spotify, the Seth Justice Show. I don't know, this may be a different show than what we're used to. I'm not really sure. I don't even really know what this podcast is, to be honest. I know I've said it's a therapy session numerous times, but it's also just pop culture and just things that come to my brain. So this one, as I was driving into the studio here today to talk and all that fun stuff, I was just like, well, what do I want to talk about today? And really the only thing that has been in my brain has been the dating scene, and mainly the dating scene for me. And I don't really know. I'm in this weird kind of mindset of it's almost a time of transition. And if you know me, you know that I've talked about that with, the human beings as a whole. It's a time of transition. It's a time of, trying to, do different things and understand the world around and being in the technological age and everything like that. And I've probably even said that on here. But I feel like it's a time of transition for me. And I don't really know how to grasp it. I know for me, dating apps, I don't know, they've kind of bred into me something that I didn't really realize until recently, and I've kind of lost that I don't know if it's swagger, I don't know if it's the ability to just go up to somebody and just start talking. Maybe that's it, but I think for me at least, when it comes to dating apps, rejection comes to mind. And the reason why I say rejection is because you have all these people on your phone. You're swiping right, swiping left, swiping right, liking somebody, XYZ thing you do on dating apps. And sometimes you don't get a response. And then that leads you over time, I think, to build up this idea of, oh, maybe I'm not desirable enough. Maybe I'm not doing this right. Maybe I'm not doing that right. Maybe what I'm doing isn't necessarily what I'm supposed to be doing. And then you get kind of burnt out by the whole damn thing. And you're just like, what do I even do? What do I do? It's just, I don't know. And so for me right now in dating and everything like that, I don't know my self-worth. And I don't know, this thought went through my head the other day, and I haven't been on dating apps in a while, and I realized that hopping back on dating apps and then realizing some shit, I'm just like, who is my type? Who would actually date me? And essentially, who am I good enough for? And I think that mindset is so damn detrimental to the psyche of, well, just us as an individual person, but also as a society. And I think that we're seeking validation a lot through dating apps, and I don't think we realize it. I think we want to know that we're hot or that we're not, or who we think we should. And the only way we can find out if we're good enough for somebody is if we, and I put that in air quotes, is if we actually go up and talk to people. But that's the catch-22 of it all, where we're not really doing that right now. And it's all kind of in the air, it's in the ether, and we're not really sure, and it creates indecision, and it just does a whole bunch of stuff to our brains that, I don't know. I think that's a side effect of not social media, but dating apps that we don't necessarily think about. Because if you're on dating apps, you deal with rejection on a massive scale every single day. Every single day, whether you know it or not. And I think that's worse than actually getting the rejection face to face. Because face to face, you can be like, man, that sucks. Like, I feel stupid, I feel foolish, but you get it. You get that feedback right away. In this case, you don't. And so you're just on the hook. You're just waiting around, just hoping that a person will like you, or you see you have X amount of likes, and then you're just like, nah, that's not my type of person. And then you reject that person, and then they're out in the lurch, like wondering, well, what do I do? And I think that kind of mindset and that kind of side effect of dating apps is absolutely horrible. And we've done it to ourselves with technology and everything like that. Now, do I think technology is bad? Of course not. I don't think that in the slightest. I think we can use it as a tool to make our lives a whole lot better. But we need to learn how to cope with that. And have I done that? Obviously not. Obviously not. There's no way, shape, and form that I have been able to cope while being on dating apps, while doing X, Y, and Z, while dating, while, just trying to find my way. I don't know. It's just, and what's funny is my dad asks me almost every time we speak now, it's like, have you found somebody yet? Have you found somebody yet? And I was like, no, Dad, no. I mean, there's a lot of mental stuff that goes into dating in this world right now, and I think everybody is in our heads about it, and whether that's because of the reason I just said, because of the rejection and wondering if you're enough for somebody, and that multiplying by 10 and not knowing your worth, not understanding like, hey, even though you don't necessarily think you're good enough, you should still try. And I think that mindset is, we haven't bridged that gap yet, and I haven't bridged that gap, because going up to somebody at a bar right now is just absolutely terrifying. And I'm just like, well, what if they say no? And it's like, and before, never had that issue. Never had that issue. Now, I can go up and just talk and be friendly with anybody, but as soon as it's like romantic feelings, or even in my own head romantic feelings, then it gets kind of tough. It reminds me of when I was a kid, or in junior high school, where I was just like, I'm so scared to even talk to this person, and you're just like, no, just do it. And then in high school, it got a little bit better. College I was perfectly fine. Little after college, fine. And then over the years, it's been a little bit more difficult. And I don't know if it's because of dating, or if it's because of, like what I said with the online dating, with, just not being able to truly, feel, and just using, honestly, online dating as a scapegoat, and being so programmed into being on whatever dating app, and just being like, you know what, I'm just going to stick here because this is comfortable, and, it feels good, and I don't have to know everything that's going on. Don't know if it's going to work out, X, Y, and Z kind of deal. But then also, over time, that breeds a rejection factor it sucks, man. And honestly, I don't know my worth. Like, I don't know how attractive I am. And you know what's funny? And I'll admit this. On TikTok, there's like these different people who will rate your profile picture, or do X, Y, and Z kind of deal. And there's times where I've clicked in on that live, and I'm in like, am I thirsty enough for just knowing and trying to be that guy to do, be like, hey, rate me? No, I haven't yet, but either way, I don't know. And then you see all these TikToks based on that, right? Where they're like, if you're single in your 30s, you feel X, Y, and Z thing. If you feel like you're not enough, you feel X, Y, and Z thing. And that aspect of it gives you kind of some peace. but also some depression kind of things. And I think for me, this week was rough. And just not, I don't know, it's rough in a mental kind of way. And I was tired all week. And, I could say it's daylight savings, but it's not daylight savings. My own brain of not knowing if I'm enough for somebody. Not knowing if, I deserve love in any way, shape, or form. Should I probably see a therapist? Absolutely. But I think also it's just acknowledging that and saying that's a problem for you and that's an issue for you is something that can ultimately help. And maybe me saying this helps somebody else, and that's great. I'm not meaning for that. My meaning is just to get this out so it's not in my head anymore. I have people I can talk to, and I don't. And this might be a lame way to do it or anything like that. But I don't know. It's just my way of doing things, I suppose. I don't know if it's the most healthy thing to go a week and then go on a podcast and talk about certain things. I don't know. At least it's getting out, right? And for the first time in my life, I'm actually being vulnerable. Vulnerability is not my favorite thing in the world. Because you open yourself up, and for a while it's fine. It's good. But then all of a sudden you get your heart broken. And then it's not so good. And that's, whether that's in a relationship or just life in general, with friendships, with, hopes and dreams and goals and whatever, whatever you do. I mean, the only thing in my life right now that I've opened myself up to genuinely is radio. Radio's been the only thing that's loved me back enough. And it's bit me in the ass quite a few times, don't get me wrong. But it's also given me so much. So, vulnerability is tough for me. It really is. And so for me to even do this is, I'd say, quite an achievement. But I guess the reason why I'm doing this is not to go down a dark, dark path. There's a Dallas Cowboys player. And by the way, if you didn't know, I'm a Cowboys fan. And I didn't know this guy. Wish I did. Wish I could talk to this person to say it's okay. Give them a hug if they need it. Support them. Be empathetic to what's going on. And Marshawn Nealand, he committed suicide. And that sucks, man. He's 24 years old. 24. And apparently he's been dealing with mental health for a long time. And then got to a point where he couldn't anymore. And the dude just scored a touchdown. A defensive player scoring a touchdown, it's a rare occurrence if you're not a sports fan. But I was hearing some pundits and former football players talk about mental health and everything like that. And they're just like, yeah, we're conditioned not to. We're conditioned to just go through the pain, move forward. And even if, we have some mental health stuff, just push it down. And I can say this, relating it back to me, I've been pushing down stuff for, a long, long time. Never really opened up, not really to my parents, sometimes to my friends, but, mainly it's been inside myself and just, my buddy Joe, he says I'm one of the most self-destructive human beings he's ever met. And he's my best friend in the world. I love that dude. And he's absolutely right. Because what I do is I push things down, and then I explode and do something crazy like bleach my hair or, just go on an escapade of pure stupidity for a long amounts of time. And that's just what I do. Is it the most healthy thing in the world? Absolutely not. And I don't know why this particular suicide had such a profound effect on me. Maybe it's just when I'm seeing it, how I am in my current life. Maybe that's why. But it's also, I don't know, because there's been so many suicides, right, of young, up-and-coming people who, try their best. And even, for example, Chris Farley, right, OD'd and, left the world too soon. There have been so many suicides that have been impactful to the world, and yet this one hit me hard. And I don't know, it's selfish of me to take so many lessons from people I don't even know. It's selfish of me to try and find some happiness from other people's suffering. But I will say this in particular just opened my eyes to something, and that's just letting it go. I've always been the person that always says, all you got to do is try. Keep moving forward. Don't worry about what happened in the past. Just move forward. And I think in this in particular, I think it's a moment for me where I'm like, yes, I finally fully engaged with that sentiment. So I'm also a hypocrite, so that's great. Except I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. But I don't know. It's that one just Marshawn Nealon, man. R.I.P. He was a great football player. I really enjoyed watching him play. And as a Cowboys fan, I watched him quite a bit past couple seasons. So it just sucks, man. You hate to see people sad and so at the end of their rope that they don't even know what to do other than do something, that is, eternal, right? Maybe not eternal, but, extreme. I just go back to what Robin Williams said. Suicide is a Band-Aid for eternity. And, we all know what happened to Robin Williams. But anyway, you know what? Let's bring this podcast up a little bit. Kind of going back to dating. So Love is Blind, apparently this season. I didn't watch this season of Love is Blind. Not really, my thing. But apparently there was a lot of dirty talk this season. And I love me some dirty talk. Does that make me a immature person? Absolutely. But here's the deal. I think dirty talk and being able to convey how you feel about somebody is so dang important. And Micah agrees with me. So ha. And my thing is, as soon as I find somebody that can use words and conversate like me and portray their feelings like I do and be able to just tell the words and be able to tell a story, I'm going to marry that person. That is the person I'm going to marry. And Micah is 100% right. And now, dirty talk, you don't have to do it every day. You don't. This is not something you have to do. I just think it's an important part of a relationship that we've forgotten because we've been so brutalized by X, Y, and Z reason of whatever traumatic experience we've felt. So should we feel like naughty about dirty talk? No, it's dirty talk. You're just sharing your feelings and how much you connect with that person, in most cases on a physical level. But I think when it comes to attraction in a relationship, you have to have that physical attraction as well as the mental and emotional and spiritual. So you need all the things to make a good relationship. And if you're not like, oh my goodness, look at him over there, or oh my goodness, look at her over there, she looks good. If you don't have that, is it really going to work out? Probably not. Probably not. So Micah, I'm with you. Dirty talk is more than okay. So there's this one lady. She, by the way, we're moving on. She was part of the Miss Mundo pageant in Chile, and her name is Ignacia Fernandez. Now, if you know me, you know I absolutely love metal music and rock music and all the ilks of that. And, well, Ignacia apparently has a band, and she is also a beauty queen. And as her talent, she did this. Yeah, that's a beauty queen being all like, oh, I'm gonna be metal and awesome and like that is so awesome. A beauty queen, right? The most beautiful of beautiful people. And all of a sudden you hear, oh, rock and roll. And you're just like, and she did it on a runway. Now, if that's not bringing culture together, I don't know what is, because that is the most spectacular thing I heard all week. It made me smile so daggone much. I was just like, yes. And again, I'm a big metal fan, and I absolutely loved it. And I just, I don't know. It is just such a cool thing to see that somebody who is willing, maybe some people will see it as weird talent or something that, you know, isn't necessarily mainstream and be like, oh, that's weird. I don't know if I like that. But to see somebody who, yes, is a beauty queen, but also is a metal singer, like the dichotomy, the change and the switching around and just the breaking of the social norms. Because some people do, I don't even really know what a beauty pageant talent portion looks like. I don't know. Never watched a beauty pageant. All right. Now, Victoria's Secret runway. Guilty. But anyway, the fact that somebody felt brave enough to do that and to break a social norm like that is absolutely fantastic. And also absolutely hilarious, because I guarantee you there's one, like, maybe older lady, maybe older man, maybe somebody who is well, we'll say more religious than other people, and they're just like, oh my goodness, what in the world is going on? I don't know if I like this. And then you're just like, shut up and enjoy, sit back, relax, and here's some death metal for your butt. Oh, I love it. I love when people do that too. I love when people break the norms. It just makes me so happy. And I don't know. That gave me a lot of like hope for some reason. I don't know why. I talked about it on air, and I did that whole like metal voice. And even doing that on a pop station, I was like, ooh, I'm being naughty. And it's just like, oh, it made me so happy. But yeah, I don't know. Ignacia Fernandez, I hope you won. I honestly don't know. I don't know if she won or not, but I hope she did. Just purely based on the talent portion of this. Because again, and she sounds great, to be honest. Like, if you're a metal fan and you hear that, you're just like, yeah, that's it. That's it right there. So if she comes to America and tours, I'm going to be buying a ticket, which, if you know me, I haven't bought a ticket since I started radio back in 2018. It's been 7 years, which, I forgot to say this, but on November 1st of this month, I hit my 7-year anniversary in radio. Now, I've gone from Ohio at an active rock station, 99.7 The Blitz, to Saginaw, Michigan, and 98 KCQ, a country station, to now here in Albany, New York, at Fly 92.3, a pop station. In my 7 years, I've seen some pretty incredible things and done some pretty incredible things as well. I mean, I think about that, and usually I don't think back. I'm not very retrospective, but this year I kind of was. But I think back, and I've been to Sonic Temple numerous times, incarceration numerous times, working, meeting people, talking with amazing and truly talented people. And I've seen so much. Plus, I've moved states. Like, not very many people I know are still, like, moving around and going to different states and everything like that. They're either at home or they moved once for college and they stayed there. That's pretty much it. And it's not a knock on them, but it is something for me that I find really gratifying. And it makes me happy and makes me proud of myself, to be honest, that I'm able to chase this dream and still move around from state to state to state. And it's been 7 years, and I've had so many people in my corner, like so many people who think that I'm good and that I will be great and that will help me whenever I ask, which I'm a pest. But there's so many people, and I got a whole lot of people to thank, and I'm going to thank some right now. But Hal Fish, he was my program director. He was my first program director. He's the one who hired me, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I was green as green can be in this industry when I first started out. But he gave me a chance. He gave me a shot, and I'll be forever, ever in his debt. And he is one of the GOATs in radio. If you don't know who Hal Fish is, that's your problem. That is your problem. The next person is Nuber. Hal, my boss at the time, he was just like, hey, Nuber, put this kid underneath your wing and help him out. And he did. He did. And, you know, I'll be forever grateful to him for that. Ronnie Hunter, another person who is my radio mom. I absolutely love and adore her. She is one of the best singular human beings I have ever met. Ronnie is, the things she does for animals, the things she does for people at the radio station, the things she does for just everybody she meets. Like, she set the standard of how I do things, because I would go to events and yes, she helped me out on air. She, did a whole bunch of stuff for me personally, but how she interacts with people is the coolest damn thing you'll ever see, because it doesn't matter who you are. She will give you a hug, say, love you bad, and just have the biggest smile on her face and just be like the best human being. So Ronnie, I love you. I miss the absolute hell out of you. I really do. There's days I need you, Ronnie. So I appreciate you. Tess from the Blitz as well. She is like my radio sister. An absolutely phenomenal human being who not just like, again, not just like radio, but as a friend, as a confidant, helps me out, listens to me. I listen to her, and it's great. Kirsch is another one of those who send stuff back and forth and just make each other laugh. Jeremy Loper, by his just presence alone, but he helped me out a lot. Randy Razor. And then the guy who probably helped me out quite a bit more than most, TIk Rick. He fought for me, and he saw something in me even when I was an intern at the Blitz that I didn't even see in myself. And that dude, Thickles, man, miss him too. And then, yeah, I mean, there's so many people. And then here in Albany, right? We have my boss, Allie, Kevin Callahan, Pete Kelly, Jackie. All these people are like friends and peers and coworkers. But then you also have people like Sean Anthony, who is, again, from Columbus, is a radio icon, has done everything in the world when it comes to radio, and he helps me out. Justin Love, who is a great friend of mine, and he taught me even before I got into no, I was with the Blitz at the time. Sean was prior, and he helped me out, and he told me the single most important thing in my career. He's like, any moment you get, you should be at the studio because you have a key, right? You got to prove yourself. You got to do it. And ever since that point, all I've done is try and prove myself. So Sean, you're the man. So thank you for that. But yeah, 7 years. 7 years in radio. It's kind of crazy. And I'm creeping up on 10. And this is my longest relationship I've ever had. So I'm super, super appreciative for my life in radio. And I think we're going to do one more. I'm not going to do another thank you. I'm not going to do that. I've wasted too much of your time on my own pettiness and, what is it? Narcissism. There we go. Anyway, last thing I want to talk about is Scarlett Johansen. Apparently, there's some rumors going around that she has a secret TikTok, and she's pretty much, said as much. But apparently what she does is she created a fake account, and nobody knows it's her or anything like that. But she goes and trolls and tries to pick fights with people in comment section, which I think is absolutely hysterical because Scarlett Johansen is essentially Gerald Broflovsky from South Park. Like, that is the first connection I make in my head of, like, and if you've seen South Park, you've seen, like, the troll trace and everything like that, which you don't even need troll trace, Scarlett. I mean, you pretty much outed yourself, but I still think it's hilarious that she actually does this. And it's kind of like just desserts, because sometimes she gets a lot of hate that she doesn't deserve. Sometimes she does, but sometimes she doesn't. And it's just like a little middle finger right there to you sometimes, and I think it just helps get out the emotions. Now, do I want her to be mean? Absolutely not. I don't want anybody to be mean. However, if you just do a little bit, pick a little bit of a fight, troll some people every once in a while, it's not a terrible thing. I mean, that's what Gerald Broflovsky did in the Troll Trace episodes or series of South Park. Just a little trolling and maybe, a dick in somebody's face or something like that. I don't know if Scarlett's doing that. I don't know if she's gone that far, but if all of a sudden we see some male members on people's faces, we can instantly go to Scarlett Johansen. And I think that's pretty funny. So, Scarlett, I mean, and plus she is such a witty person, and like the banter she had with Chris Pratt is top tier level banter. Again, if I find somebody I can banter with, like Scarlett Johansson and Oh, wait a minute. Was that Scarlett Johansson? Or was that Jennifer Lawrence? That was Jennifer Lawrence. She's married to Colin Jost. I don't know why that just hit me. That just hit me. Oh my goodness. I am so glad I didn't say that exact sentence on air with Chris Pratt. Because that was Jennifer Lawrence. Why did my brain go to Jennifer Lawrence when I read Scarlett Johansson? It's like, no, that's the person who's married to Colin Jost, which also makes sense because they must have great witty banter, and we've seen that on SNL, so that makes sense. But oh my goodness, I am such a moron. Oh God, that is hysterical. Oh, we got to end on that. Yeah, ending on me being an absolute moron. Anyway, Scarlett Johansson, that is fantastic. Thank you so much for listening in to the Seth Justice Show. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow at Justice_radio on Instagram and TikTok, The Seth Justice Show on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you for listening to my dumb behind, and we'll talk next week. Bye.